All right, welcome back to another episode of Live Your Dreams podcast, a show that inspires you to pursue your passion and dreams, and more importantly, live your best life. I'm your host, Joe Gawalis, alongside my fantastic co-host,
Chris Victor.
Chris Victor over there. And today, Chris, we have on an extraordinary guest who is here to help people take center stage, in their own life. She is a powerhouse in the music, TV, and business consulting industry. With over 13 years of experience, she's a highly sought after consultant, musician who knows the ins and outs of creative world. She started her journey as a singer-songwriter, but also became inspired to be a guiding light for professionals that are seeking genuine support and direction. Her superpower to connect you to where you're meant to be and where to go. Please welcome Dani Felt to the Live Your Dreams podcast. Dani, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. That was best introduction ever.
Oh, well, it's all your accolades that are well deserved because you earned that introduction. It's really been fantastic. We were saying before we started, Dani, we've known each other for quite a long time now, probably like a little over 10 years. You're a dynamic individual. You've been in this business for quite some time. You're really an inspiring person. Take us back to the beginning of your journey, because you came, I think, from Pennsylvania, correct? Kind of coming into the New York City area originally. I'd love to hear kind of how your journey in the music industry and TV got started when it was all back in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always wanted to be a songwriter since I was super young. And then I got into the business side when I started this music blog and started featuring all these different artists and started building relationships with producers and publicists and musicians. Um, and that was when I pretty much went to London for an internship, came back, and then started my blog. So I was so inspired and eventually got over like 300 interviews.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah, right. It was eye-opening to me, and it really got me in the door for the business side. When before I was just trying to just do the artist side, but it's a lot easier when you're on the business side to break into the artist side than when you're just doing the artist side and you don't have anything else to really build relationships with, basically.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you see so many people that are coming into the business. If you don't understand how the business side of music or film or TV works, it's very difficult to punch through. People just don't want to talk to an artist anymore, especially now. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, things are a little different, but it seems like everybody now is starting to become a hybrid, right? You're an artist,
Mhm.
you're a business person, you run a,
Mhm.
a class. Have you felt that's kind of been the change where years ago you kind of just came in with a single-handed focus? You see a shift in our business going in a direction where you kind of have to be able to take control of your own career now and learn more about the business?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the more skills you have, the more leverage you have, the more experience you have, the more valuable you become in the industry. And then you never know what someone might call upon you to help with. If you happen to know sound design, you happen to know whatever. So yeah, I mean, the more well rounded you are in general, the more advantages you're going to have and the more opportunities you're going to have.
Oh, yeah. No,
I have a
absolutely.
question. Did your blog turn to a vlog, turn to a podcast? It was an evolution in what you started to where you are now?
It actually turned into a book.
Oh,
My blog turned into a book. I met up with this girl and she's like, let's make your blog a book. It would be awesome. And we started interviewing all these bigger people and um, created an entire book, put like artist questions.
nice.
Like it became like an artist development, life
Hmm.
coaching hybrid,
Right.
and then like featured all this amazing information from all these different people. So it didn't turn
Wow.
into a podcast. It went from like a blog to a book. Yeah.
That's great. No, I mean, it's really impressive, Dani, because when you came here as a musician, right, and started your career as just an artist, you really kind of took to the business in a great way. Like you're very much an entrepreneur. You have a lot of things going on, and we'll get into all that. Was that something that was embedded to you? Are your parents entrepreneurs? Did you come from that sort of family background? Where did you get this business sense from? Because it seems to come very natural to you to have segmented into that kind of, a world.
Thank you. Yeah, my dad, he's an insurance and he's also very much a leader. So he started basketball leagues, he started
Hmm.
a bunch of stuff. He's always been involved in charities and giving back. And so just like entrepreneurship and business and communication and people. And my mom's really into nonprofits and like, yeah, I would say like both sides. Like I'm kind of a hybrid of both my parents. My mom's very artistic. She's a painter, super talented, super like spiritual, super like chill,
Sure.
super encouraging. My dad's very business, very numbers guy, very black and white. You know what I mean? Like everything is like very like in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of got both. But I would say some of the biggest moments that got me, I guess, that built some of my skills, I went to this overnight camp and they were just like, you need to just walk up to people and talk to them. Like
Yeah.
and I learned that, from going there and just starting to walk up to people and talk to people and having to build relationships at that age. And then the second thing was I launched a compilation album when I was in college to raise money for
Oh, wow.
Linda Creed Breast Cancer Foundation because my dad's second cousin was Linda Creed, who wrote the song "The Greatest Love of All."
Sure.
Oh,
So
wow.
I created a compilation album, and I learned I really love leading and project creating and putting things together. And that was kind of my first role to really step into the business side, the leadership side, and realize I really like that.
Oh yeah, no, something very
Amazing.
special, very unique once you start stepping into that world. Now, I've heard you sing, I've heard your music. You're a great artist. You're a great singer. When you kind of transitioned into the business side, did you ever feel for a second, am I leaving my artistic side behind? Did that ever go through your mind at all? Because I know for a lot of people that are starting to become hybrids or segue a little bit away from the art, did you ever feel you're losing part of yourself or that part of artistic side of you and then got it back later? What was your journey kind of like going through that mentally yourself? How did you handle that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I released my last song this March and it felt so good because the last time I released music was like at least 2 or 3 years ago.
Hmm.
And I forgot like what it felt like to just like be an artist because I get so ingrained in the business side and
Sure.
every other side but my own music. So but it's really soul fulfilling, like releasing music and stepping into your artistry. And so I always tell myself the minute I'm like highly, highly, highly successful, I'm gonna just like spend it on recording more music and like go back into studios and like
Perfect.
all of that. So yeah, definitely artist at heart, but I also really love the business side and all the opportunities and like just connecting a lot of dots.
No. I agree. You and I kind of have a lot of similar kind of points in our careers, right? Like I did a lot of but I'm a TV guy. I directed and all that, but then I deal more with the business, and I actually do making things most of the time. I'm actually doing more of the producing and getting things sold and doing that more than actually making artistic pieces. So I can tell how you feel when you say, you know what, I don't want to lose that full side of my
Mhm.
artistic integrity because it feels like it goes away once in a while. And young listeners will have to kind of figure that out because you can't just sit there wanting to be an artist alone and not trying to break through to the business anymore.
Right.
You need to know that side, especially today. It's something essential.
Yeah, like one thing we do, one of the services we do, I brought on this girl that is really good at negotiating with brands and understanding
Oh,
how to
good.
teach artists that. And so that's just one example of just like the more skills you have, to make money on the business side, the more you can go support yourself. So, if an artist understands how to pitch to brands like clothing companies
Hmm.
or whatever, and they get like a $5,000 deal for something, they can go use that to go market their music, to do
Yeah,
PR, to do albums. And so, as many skills that people can leverage using social media, using their personal brand, and
That's
just
true.
viewing themselves as a business and not just a creative will make a huge difference compared to the people that just want to be a creative but not learn the business side.
I love that you said it that way, where the artist is their own business. People have to see it like that. If you're a musician, an
Yep.
actor, a writer, something that's in the arts, you're still a business brand. I'm so glad you said it that way. Now, talking about business brands and skill services you offer, you have an incredible business. I'd love to hear more about it because what you're doing is really giving artists a chance to be showcased, to be seen, and you do it in a good way. You're able to really connect the dots to so many different people, and your artists are getting great opportunities to be from you. I'd love to hear more about your business. I know our listeners would love to learn more about what your business does.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words about my business. Um, yeah, I learned that I'm really good at connecting service providers
Mhm.
and artists. And so I pretty much built a network where people come into my world and we can help them with everything from like PR and marketing and promoting their videos to writing their bios to doing photo shoots and branding and marketing plans and live performance training and pretty much anything people need. So I feel like I've kind of built like an artist development platform so that people can just come into this and like get whatever they need, and then they can work with managers, or even we can also help managers a lot because we have all these resources. So when artists are at that level and they just don't have the time or the resources, they can hire us to do a lot of that kind of stuff.
That's good. You kind of became a one-stop shop essentially for the artist,
great.
which is a fantastic place to be. Now, for people listening, they're probably like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much work." I mean, this person can get everything done. From a good perspective and a bad perspective, because I always want to show people the good and bad sides of things so they realize we all go through something.
Yeah.
As this sounds like that's probably all roses and great. Has it been a difficult journey at all doing that as well? Because it sounds fantastic, but I'm sure even dealing like, Chris and I deal with film production a lot with clients. Anytime you're dealing with outside people, it could be a bit difficult. You just did it. I mean, I can almost know your answer before you say it, but I'd love to hear your perspective on working with outside people and some of the hurdles you may have to go over during this journey to get there.
I literally want a show about this because I want to showcase just
Oh
like
wow.
all the craziness behind the scenes
Yeah.
of the music world. Because, no, I mean, it's not rose colored glasses, and you have to be very selective
Mhm.
as a service provider or manager or company of what clients you take on. Sometimes you just like are like, oh my God, like I really need a client. But then sometimes those aren't always the right clients, and it
Yeah.
can create a lot of chaos. And you really have to learn how to set boundaries in the beginning, or you'll learn from that mistake really fast.
Yeah.
And clients are calling you
So it's more
constantly,
you.
asking you, or sorry, what? I think Chris said
No, no,
something.
just trying to say is yeah, I was trying to say, is it more like inspiration versus desperation? Like I'm inspired to do this versus I'm desperate, and you just scatter around and make the
Yeah,
wrong choice. I mean,
yeah,
it's really
yeah,
amazing because I remember listening to you about also you mentioned collaboration, which Joe and I love. We love collaborating, but once again with the right people.
right. Oh my God,
Yeah,
it's really all about like finding the right people to work with
Mhm.
whatever you're doing, because that makes such a difference. Like having shared values, like having a similar vision or mission, like all of that plays a part. And so like it's just so important to make sure you're with the right people.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. One of the things I always tell clients, I'm sure you found this out yourself too, was you need to be transparent and not be afraid of the word yes or no at the beginning, right? Like
yeah,
those are powerful words. Yes or no are very powerful statements and
Mhm.
powerful words. And it feels like I think everybody, and I'm sure all three of us had to go through this at the beginning of your career, especially in business, you're afraid to say, especially no at the beginning, right? Like you want to take on,
Mhm.
like you said, the wrong client who may not see the value in what you're doing. So you're getting underpaid or they don't appreciate your skill set. And because you think no is the end of the world, you're doing a lot of the wrong things and you end up causing a lot of problems for yourself, not being able to use the word no correctly. Have you
Mhm.
found yourself having to go through that transition to become comfortable saying that word to people?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I am working on it every day, how to say no, turn things down, and just like have stronger boundaries, because it's tough when you're a kind person.
Yeah.
People can take advantage a lot.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of that. And so it's definitely something I'm in the thick of now, really learning to get better with like recognizing red flags and like having stronger boundaries and getting a lot more clear on things and being more selective with the clients you take on,
Mhm.
making sure you're more upfront with people about what they're getting when they purchase things, and just like really being more intentional.
No, that's great. I love that because he
Right.
was like when you're intentional with your words and everything is very clear. I think a lot of the problem too is miscommunication, right? People hear what they want to hear,
Yeah.
even if you're saying it to somebody, they're interpreting whatever they want to kind of make the scenario to be. So even though you may say something, they feel like they're not getting the right product, but you told them in a certain way. That's why I'm always like, I want everything in an email, bullet pointed, as blunt as possible, that a third
Yeah.
grader can decipher this. If it's not like that, I feel like it's too many red flags. I don't want to do business with you at that point.
Yeah. No, being clear with what you communicate is so important. And also just like watching egos with
Yeah.
people, I say is like a really big thing for me. Like if someone is really just about being famous, but like doesn't want to work hard to get there and just like
Yeah.
feels entitled, that's a red flag to me because like doing this is really hard and it's a lot of hard work. And like as an artist, you're not always going to have the best days ever, every single
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
Things are not always going to work out. You're not always going to get on that podcast or that blog or that gig. And you have to be really mentally strong and grounded to not like just get lost in the clouds and be like, I deserve everything just because I'm talented, because there's like millions of songs being uploaded on Spotify every day. So it's not just about talent.
I love that. Did you repeat that exact same thing to your clients? Because it's brilliant what you just said. That's exactly what
Yeah.
I think they need to hear when somebody needs to get a little bit, I guess, knocked off the pedestal a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with being confident, like you said. You have to be confident in your abilities as an artist. There's a very fine line between confidence and arrogance, though. And what you were saying is somebody's a little bit arrogant about what is going on.
Yeah, and just being like just being an entrepreneur, like you have to be really strong-minded because you can have really bad days
Yeah.
sometimes, and you might want to just quit. And that's in music or any industry really. Like
Yeah.
just being an entrepreneur, a business owner, there's gonna be days where you're gonna be like, like why am I doing this again? Like I'm just gonna get a full-time job, forget everything I've worked for all these years. But then you get like a testimonial or you like get
Mm.
some like kind of inspiration and someone's like, "Oh my God, I loved your reel. You made my day." Or, "Oh my God, this helped me so much." And you're like, "Okay, this is why I do this, like to help people." And so, you have to just be really strong-minded and like understand that things are not going to be perfect, and being able to regulate your nervous system, being able to like be emotionally intelligent and be able to like handle when things go wrong without like getting like so mad or like punching a wall or something, you know what I mean? Like not that I do that, but I'm like just saying in general, like you have to be able to handle no, you have to be able to handle rejection, you
Yeah.
have to be able to, just really it's a mental game.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And you're somebody, I see your posts and I know you as a person who kind of has that, like you believe in manifestation, positive vibes, putting things out there. And it's always good. Everybody tries to be like that. What do you do personally when you start to go down a little bit, when you start to get these feelings? No matter who it is, we all get
Yeah.
them. Everybody gets that. Should I walk away
Oh
from
yeah.
this? What's going on? What makes you actually say, you know what grounds you, brings you back to a neutral place to kind of be clear headed for the next day?
I love listening to musical theater
For
because
sure.
I'm
Okay.
obsessed.
Oh, wow.
So, like, when I'm
Nice.
feeling bad, I will, like, blast musical theater, and sometimes it will make me, like, cry or get more emotional, but, like, it just, like, helps you, like, get through stuff, I feel like.
Process.
Also, working out, going
Yeah.
biking in my gym, in my apartment, and, like, blasting musical theater and just being like, "It's okay, like, ask the world, like, it's fine." You'll just, like, start feeling better. Watching a Netflix series, like, I watched some, like, random show recently that was, like, on some I think it was on Tubi, and it was, like,
Mm.
about entrepreneurship, and I got so inspired. So sometimes just watching content or listening to podcasts, or I could just start like crying about stuff, or like I've punched like my pillows and I'm like really frustrated. And you eventually feel better. The
Mm.
worst thing you can do is like hold it in because then it will literally hurt your body,
Yeah.
and affect your physical health. So it's really important to let out our emotions. It could be dancing, it could be walking, it could be biking, it could be punching pillows, it could be writing music. Sometimes just like writing a song or like going on my phone and filming myself singing and like improvising some random words about something I'm frustrated
Mm.
about can help. So lots of different things.
That's fantastic advice. I think so many artists and young entrepreneurs need to kind of hear that. Now, what's interesting about you though is not only are you getting success in what you're doing, where there's always successes and there's always pushbacks and whatnot, but you're very successful in what you're doing. But you even do it in multiple. I mean, you're a musician, you're an artist, you're a entrepreneur, you're walking into the TV world now. I mean, you're going
Yeah,
everywhere.
nice.
That must be fantastic. And now when you start to cross like boundaries, right? So when you go from being an artist to being a business person to then being in say television, is it ever like, okay, I'm kind of respected in the music world, now I'm walking into the TV world? Do you ever have to put your ego aside and be like, I'm learning something from the beginning now? How do you make that transition from one to the other?
Oh my gosh, TV world is so different than the music industry. I had no idea, and I've been learning so much. Being mentored by my producer too has helped a lot, and he's just been teaching me the ropes of what to do and what not to do.
Sure.
There's just all these rules and like politics and just like rules, I would say. I mean, I don't know the word politics is the right word, but like there's just things you can and can't do, you're not
Sure.
supposed to do. And I didn't know that until recently. I think you froze for a second.
Me?
Okay, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I started getting into it, and
Okay.
it's been a really interesting learning curve for me because music I've been in for like ever,
Yeah.
you know, 15 years on the music business side. So
Nice.
that's a lot of experience. TV, not even close to that. So I am
Yeah.
definitely very humbled by it and really grateful. And I just get really inspired. I mean, every time I watch a reality TV show, I'm like, I have 10 new reality show ideas in my head, you know? And I view like every single person I meet as a reality TV. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm like, this could be a show, this could be a show, you know, I could do this, I could do that. And like, I think it's so interesting because it's something that like I haven't done in a lot of. So to me, it's like such a challenge, and I love that because like I'm an entrepreneur, so
Sure.
it's like challenges are fun for me. You know, if things are too easy, I kind of get bored. So I like it as like a whole new like adventure.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, absolutely. How did you find
Nice.
like working? Because again, when you're going from music, there's still a lot of people involved, but like on a TV set or a film set, now you're talking about like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that you could be dealing with at all times. Like a set is so monumental. I mean, there's so many departments when you're working on like a TV show or a movie. Now you have not just music, you have a music department with all these people. You have, you know, grips, gaffers, lighting, camera teams. You have all these different
Everyone.
units.
Yeah.
How was it going from like a smaller team to working with these larger productions in like TV now? That has to be different too, because now you're dealing with a lot of egos that are there instead of just, you know, a smaller group of people.
Yeah, I mean, when we originally filmed like our like original pilot like 4 years ago, I was just in shock watching everything because it was just such a new experience for me. And it was just really cool. But they didn't really want me that involved, ironically. Like my director was like, no, just let us handle it. Like you don't have to do anything. You brought the people, you got the casting, like you're good. So I wasn't like super involved like in the actual filming process, but I was in like the vision of stuff. And it was really interesting, but I think right now it's more learning about talking to production companies,
Sure.
you know, trying to find the right production company, trying to learn just more in general about how the whole process is. And like it's just really cool. I don't know, I think it's fascinating. And I also love that I'm like a woman in the TV film world, so like that inspires me. Like when I
Sure.
saw Margot Robbie, I think her name is, like just all of those people in the Barbie movie and winning
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those awards. That to me just inspired me, and I was like, man, like that could be me, you know? Like it was just so cool to watch that.
No, it definitely could be you. I think you
That's
have the
awesome.
talent to definitely do it. You know, you have that great ambition. That's fantastic. And like you said, drive and ambition are such important things. Can you give us anything else that's going on right now about you? Projects you're allowed to talk about, not allowed to talk about. We'll skip over those, but things that you can tell us more about what's going on, like right now in your world. You mentioned the TV pilot. Do you have anything else like that going on?
Um, I would say the biggest thing right now is building my artist community called
Yes.
Center Stage, where we're gonna start doing like in-person or online networking events as
Okay.
well as webinars from different experts. And I think that's gonna be a really cool launching point to just kind of build more awareness of my brand in general. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing right now besides my show, which I can't really talk much about because it's just yeah. But yeah. Um but I want to create so many other shows and movies, and like just like I want to move to LA and just like connect with all the people in the film world because I've been in Nashville for 5 years. So I think it'd just
Yeah.
be cool for a different, you know, environment and just see what's up, you know.
No, no, yeah,
Why
absolutely.
would
How
you
did you?
choose LA over?
Oh, go ahead, Chris,
Why
please.
would you choose LA over New York? I'm just kind of curious.
I lived in New
You
York
just
for
don't.
4 years.
Oh, okay.
I was there for before I actually came to Nashville. So I've been in New York for 4 years at least. Nashville, this is my 5th year, and so I feel like LA is the one
Okay.
place I've never not the one place, but one of the main entertainment places that I've never lived, you know? I've just been
Okay,
there like a
nice.
couple times, but when I was there a few weeks ago, like everything just was very in alignment. All the people that lived there were so excited and wanted me to move there. And it was like, I felt so cool. Like, they're like, you have to come here and you would so belong here. Like, everything is here. Like, all the film world is here. All the supervisors are here. All the stuff. Like, yeah, it was cool.
No, it's definitely unique. I lived there for years, Los
Yeah,
Angeles. I loved
yeah,
it. It was great, and you can literally walk in a room and you're going to meet somebody in the business, right? So, like, if you want to
that's
collaborate
great.
with
Yeah,
people and farm your brand, it's a perfect place to be because, again, New York, tons of people in TV, film, theater, but I mean, Los Angeles, it is Hollywood. That's what they're known for. I mean, everybody
yeah,
there. You
true.
get in an Uber, you talk about something, you get somebody turn around giving you a script, right? So, like, every single person
That's
is
right.
basically involved with the arts out there. It's a really cool energy to be around that when you have so many collaborators to kind of get involved with.
Yeah, and part of me, like, wants to maybe one day be, like, an agent or something
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm really good
Okay,
at just, like, finding opportunities for people, so that's also something in the back of my head, maybe one day be, like, a talent agent or
of course.
something, but people are always coming to me looking for talent for stuff, like, all the time. It's like, I don't even try. My friend called me up and he's like, "Danny, do you have a rock singer for this movie we're doing, this independent?" I was like, "Yep, I know the perfect person," and he hired her.
Oh, that's great. No, 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 you do.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be a natural, I
Nice.
think, a natural transition for you to go into that direction. Now, as you're building your brand for artists and you're going to make this kind of place where people can kind of start having a community, is that something that you kind of see going long term? Are you doing that to build more of the Dani Felt brand? Are you doing that to build a certain business? What do you plan on that kind of working around? Where is that, like, the focal point of that group going to be?
It's to help build awareness of my services and my network.
Sure.
Um, I feel like it can be challenging sometimes to have people understand everything we
Yeah.
offer, and it can probably be overwhelming because it's really just so many different things that I'm involved with. So I think just starting to showcase some of my experts and being able to sell our consulting programs through
Mhm.
those is just kind of a good move to build community, build my network, give value, all of that, versus just trying to talk to people always individually. So it's like it's a work in progress. We literally, me and my friend just started building it like last month.
Sure.
Like it was originally a paid program and I kind of changed it so that now it's going to be a free Facebook group, but it's very focused on like artists and writers and not like the industry. I don't want people like selling their services and managers. Like I
Yeah.
want to be very focused on just like musicians.
No, that's good. That's good. You know, it's interesting. I saw you had that for a while going on, the paid service thing. I've thought about it. People thought about it before, I'm sure. How did you? I mean, it seems like now people are more hesitant. How did you feel that whole process kind of way? I see now you're going into the free kind of space, even in the film business, like with distribution when you sell and buy movies. So many of the way people are consuming content now is like free stuff on Tubi or Freevee. Like, these free is the new everything nowadays.
Mm, yeah. I mean, don't personally sell stuff with my consultants that's free, but the
Sure.
webinars will be free. So like people get to learn about different things. Like I have an expert on YouTube keywords, I have an expert on brand deals, I have an expert on live performance training. And so we kind of have programs with most of those things. And so they'll be able to kind of get a taste of things without having to pay for it. But then obviously if they want to go in depth, and
Yes.
that's kind of how a lot of webinars and coaching programs
Huh?
are kind of set up. So yeah, it's definitely different, but I think it'll be good for sure and kind of creates good karma to just like build that community and just like build that good energy. And it's like a way to sell myself without having to like tell people, you know what I mean? It's like a
Yes.
different way. Yeah.
No, that's great. How did you find it was getting connected with other experts in their particular field, right? You said you have somebody who understands, like, you know, YouTube keywords, all that. Was it easy to find these kind of people? Did you go out there and connect in person? Was it online? How does a networking expert network themselves? That's what we kind of like to learn.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Facebook is like a big way of connecting with people, different Facebook groups. Um, this one girl like connected with me from a referral, and then I
Mm.
wanted to find out who that girl was that referred me, and then we started talking, and now she's like my brand deal expert
Oh, good.
person.
Yeah.
So I was fascinated what she does, and I just have a talent of making money with people with whatever their gifts are, and like turn everything into a way that everyone can. So, like, anytime I meet someone and they have a skill, I'm like, "Oh, I can sell that." And so I pretty much, I think, mastered just, like, being a salesperson for all these different companies and brands, and, like, I think it's cool because it helps me, it helps them, it helps our clients, and it's like I'm supporting all these different businesses.
No, you're absolutely right. And I love that you said that it helps you, it helps them. Everybody's kind of interconnected there. One hand wash the other. Everybody's working out great. Now, for our young listener, entrepreneurs, businessmen who want to get involved, women, and obviously artists who want to meet more, learn more about you, how do we reach out to you? If I was a young musician who wanted to get involved with your program, or a young entrepreneur who wanted to ask you for advice, where do I get in touch with Dani?
Sure, you would just email me at Dani, Dani, at DANIFELT, like felt the material,
Yep.
.com. So Dani at DaniFelt.com. Also, my Instagram is Dani Felt Inspires, and I post a ton of reels. So if you ever want inspirational content, definitely check it out.
No, that's great. No, I follow you myself. I always like everything you're posting on there. It always seems like you're always trying to bring people positivity and make sure everybody's day becomes better at the end of it. You're always looking out for other people. It's really a great thing about you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I mean, I would say the manifestation part of it, and like being positive and staying in alignment is a really important piece to success. So if you're like very negative or in a very victim mentality, you're going to block a lot of what you want to bring into your life.
Yeah.
So it's like not always just about being nice, but it's about like, it makes a difference. Like being positive helps you be more successful, like understanding like just the energetics of things and alignment and not forcing things and looking out for signs. It's very key to success because when you ask for signs and you ask, show me the right people to work with,
Hmm.
show me my soulmate clients versus like pretending that doesn't exist and it's all you. When you give it up to higher power to help you, it makes a huge difference in your success.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you can feel like these kind of individuals that have this victim mentality or they're always angry at the world. The second you walk in a room with that person, you kind of just have this like disgusted feeling, right? And
Yeah.
you just did it right there, like your skin
Yeah,
crawls, and people can feel that the minute you walk in. So why would anybody want to collaborate with you
right.
or work with you? You just know like this is not somebody I want to spend time with. It's just
Mhm.
negative, and that's really what it comes down to too. I mean, look, like you said at the beginning, you said, Chris and I are together all the time, right? Like we were
Yeah.
together every day, all the time. If you don't like the person you're working with,
Imagine.
that's bad. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how talented they are. You're not going to want, if he was a miserable person, I wouldn't want to spend 12 hours a
Right.
day with this guy. That's the end of story, right? Like it's a lot of time you
Totally.
spend with people.
That's why it's
So
also
true.
important to work with the right clients and the right team and just like make sure you feel really good. Like pay attention to how your body feels around people. Cause if
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
aren't safe or like toxic, whatever, like most likely you'll feel really anxious or stressed or like not good. Right. And then when you're around people that are positive, like you feel expanded and lighter and happier. So it's so important to pay attention to like how your body physically feels. It will know before you even mentally know.
No, you're absolutely right. You're 100% about that. The body is a lot smarter than
Good
people give it
advice.
credit for. You're going to really know. Now,
Mm.
talking about getting things and knowing things or not knowing things, any words of advice quickly for young artists? I mean, people that are starting out that are going to try to take this journey. Picture young Dani coming from Pennsylvania before New York, before Nashville, before the success. If you can go back in time and talk to yourself or anybody like you, what would those words of advice be to that young woman or young man out there?
Make sure to tune out the doubt from other people because everyone's going to give you their advice based on their experience. But if they haven't done what you're actually trying to do, it's not exactly the best idea to listen to them because they haven't done it. So they're not going to be able to guide you to the same degree someone would that actually did what you want to do. So find people that actually have done the things that you want to do and learn from them, and hire coaches and mentors and learn, because that's going to save you so much time as opposed to you trying to research and figure out everything yourself. They've done it, they've been there, they will teach you, so you don't have to go through all the same learning lessons that they have. So finding the right mentors, surrounding yourself with the right people, like getting really clear on your vision of what you actually want, and figuring out the next steps to that plan. Like you don't have to figure out every step right away, but just make sure you know the next step and focus there.
That is so beautifully said.
Great
Really,
advice.
you give such great advice. If you allow it to, we'd love to have links to your website and descriptions and all our links below, or our YouTube and Spotify and whatnot, because really, you're an inspiring person. I think anybody who would get involved with your program will learn so much about the business through you, but how to be an incredible person as well. You're teaching many things to people. The value is there. You're definitely somebody who's inspiring. You're a great person. I'm always inspired every time I talk to you. I get excited. We catch up, every few months. You and I catch up on the phone or whatever, see what's going on in each other's lives. It's always good. You're always doing something amazing. It's always impressive every time I speak to you.
Thank you. That's so nice. Just spread the good energy. Like it makes a big difference. When people are just kind and respectful, like you don't have to go crazy, just like be nice to people.
It's as easy as that, right? I mean, that's a way. I don't know how you say it better. Things that are usually simple are the best ways to do it, really. I mean, Dani, you're a fantastic individual. I think, we went almost 40 minutes here. That's usually the time of the show. Is there anything else you want to add in before we jump off that you missed, or anything specific about your business you'd like to add? Because everything else, you looked great. This was fantastic. Do you want to add anything? Obviously, this probably be cut out right here, but do you want to add anything in before we get off, or are you good?
Just go for your dreams, like no matter what people tell you, because it's your life and it's your mission, it's your path, and you have that in your heart for a reason. So it doesn't matter if other people tell you it's hard or it's impossible. I mean, it will be hard. Like that's the truth. Like anything worth doing is not easy, but that's the journey of life and being a human being. It's not about just getting to the end. It's about the journey and the up leveling and the learning lessons and the growth. So do it anyway.
Incredible words of advice from
great.
Dani Felt. Dani, thank you so much for coming on the show. I don't know how we can get any better than that. Please, everybody, make sure to look her up, get involved with her program. She is fantastic. You will not be disappointed. We will have links below. Dani Felt, everybody, you are multifaceted, brilliant in all fields, a great artist, a great entrepreneur. You're somebody very special. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know our listeners are going to get so much from you. Thank you, Dani, for taking the time to come on.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Chris.
No, thank you so much. Again, I'm Joe Gawalis.
Chris Victor.
Thank you so much, Dani, for coming on the show. As always, we'll see everybody next week. Stay tuned for a new episode, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you all so much for coming on.